Black Hawk down, we got a Black Hawk down.
Black Hawk Down incident, which took place in Somalia in 1993. This incident is commonly associated with the Battle of Mogadishu, which led to the death of 1,000 American soldiers. Here is how it all happened. In 1991, Somalia descended into a state of anarchy and civil war following the overthrow of President Siad Barre's regime. The country was plagued by famine, violence, and instability, leading to a humanitarian crisis. In response to the ongoing crisis, the United Nations, UN, authorized a mission called UNISOM, United Nations Operation in Somalia, to provide humanitarian aid and restore stability. The United States became involved in this mission, known as Operation Restore Hope, with the primary goal of delivering food and humanitarian assistance to the Somali people. However, the situation on the ground was far more complex and dangerous than anticipated. Several armed factions, including warlords and militias, were vying for power in Mogadishu, the capital of Somalia.
On October 3rd, 1993, a U.S. military operation was launched in Mogadishu to capture key lieutenants of a Somali warlord, Mohammed Farah Aidid. This operation involved U.S. Army Rangers and Delta Force operators. During the operation, 2 U.S. Black Hawk helicopters were shot down, and more than 1,000 American soldiers lost their life. What followed was a fierce battle that lasted into the next day, October 4th, 1993. How is this possible? What the American soldiers did not know is, in Somalia, all people are armed. Children, women, old, young, all very skilled. This is a story you can't believe guerrilla warfare. The Somali militias, loyal to warlord Mohammed Farah Aidid, were experienced in guerrilla warfare tactics. They knew the streets of Mogadishu intimately, which gave them a significant advantage in urban combat. They used this knowledge to set up ambushes and engage in hit-and-run attacks. Effective use of terrain. The Somali militias made effective use of the city's buildings, alleys, and narrow streets to create defensive positions and escape routes. This made it difficult for the U.S. and UN forces to navigate the urban environment and locate the enemy. Tenacity and courage. The Somali fighters displayed remarkable tenacity and courage during the battle. Despite facing overwhelming firepower from U.S. helicopters and ground forces, they continued to engage the American and UN troops, leading to a protracted and intense firefight. Skilled marksmanship. Many of the Somali militiamen were armed with rifles and machine guns, and some were skilled marksmen. They were able to accurately target U.S. forces, including the crew members of the Black Hawk helicopters, resulting in the downing of 2 helicopters. Local support. The Somali militias had the support of the local population in certain areas of Mogadishu. Civilians provided them with information about U.S. troop movements and assisted in evacuating wounded fighters. Adaptability. The Somali militias were able to adapt quickly to changing circumstances during the battle. They adjusted their tactics in response to U.S. actions and demonstrated a level of flexibility in their combat strategy. It's important to note that while the Somali militias exhibited effective tactics during the Battle of Mogadishu, the conflict had devastating consequences for the civilian population of Mogadishu, and the overall situation in Somalia remained complex and volatile for many years. The battle also had a profound impact on U.S. foreign policy and military.
My fellow Americans, today I want to talk with you about our nation's military involvement in Somalia. This past weekend, we all reacted with anger and horror as an armed Somali gang desecrated the bodies of our American soldiers and displayed a captured American pilot. All of them soldiers who were taking part in an international effort to end the starvation of the Somali people themselves.